Hey everyone, David Shapiro here with a new kind of video. I'm going to try, I've had this idea for a while. I've had this idea of doing a working session. And what I mean by that is I'm just going to walk you through my entire process. Sometimes people don't really believe me when I tell them how fast I work or how easy this stuff is. So you know what? I'm just going to record it end to end. And here's the project today. Someone said, nice vid. So this is my co-writing flash fiction with GPT-3. Let me zoom in a little bit. He says, nice vid, and the character dialogue one. I'm curious if you've tried using GPT-3 to generate a high-level logical plot summary where you prompt for a structure like setup, incident, an inciting incident, midpoint, false high, etc., etc. In my experiments, it is too extensive prompt chaining. Perhaps that's because it's a more complex task. I say I tried that with my Automuse project, and it was not great at it. However, this is something that could be fine-tuned. So that gave me an idea. Let me do an outline generator. So I just created this repo. Here is the repo here. I've added a couple files. I just added my API key and a boilerplate thing. So let me just show you. CD outline generator, get status, get add, get commit AM, initial commit, get push. Okay, so you will see I just did a push. There's only a handful of files in here. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing to do with this is playground. Let's go to Text DaVinci 02. So the very first thing, let me zoom back in here, is we need some raw data to work with. So we're going to synthesize some data. So the first thing is, let's just right off the cuff, let's see if this prompt works. Write a detailed, no, not write, imagine, no, brainstorm, there we go. Brainstorm a plot synopsis for a random story. Let's say detailed plot synopsis. And let's just see what that does. The town of Shepherdstown is a historic located in the Appalachian of blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm trying to read too fast. This is great. And it decides, blah, blah. Okay, keeps going. Okay, perfect. So the town of Shepherdstown is a historic small town located in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. The town is home to a variety of shops and businesses, as well as a number of different families. The McBride family has lived in Shepherdstown for generations, and they own a large farm on the outskirts of town. The youngest McBride daughter, Lizzie, is a free-spirited 18-year-old who has always been drawn to the town's history. She loves to explore the old buildings and learn about the town's past. One day, Lizzie discovers a hidden room in one of the old buildings. The room is filled with dusty old boxes and furniture. Lizzie starts to explore, and she finds a secret passage that leads to a hidden staircase. She climbs the staircase to find herself in a secret attic. The attic is filled with old clothes, furniture, and books. Lizzie starts to look through the books and she finds an old journal. The journal is filled with the handwritten accounts of the town's history. Lizzie is fascinated by the journal and decides to start her own research project on the town's history. She spends the summer exploring the town's past and learning. This, oh man, this is some pure literary fiction right here. Okay, so we've got an initial prompt. So let's go ahead and just save this. And we'll call this prompt underscore premise. Text. And so then what I do is I've got this this script that I'm starting. Let's change this to DaVinci 02, and we'll use the same settings. So no frequency penalty, no presence penalty. I'll leave the stops. Actually, no, I'll just remove those because they are not relevant to this project. Okay, I think that's all we need. So go with pep8, 2 new lines beneath each one. Okay, so this is a function that I copy paste in all my projects. Some people have noticed that every now and then your prompt will fail, and or your completion will fail, and so I just have a retry built in. It rarely needs that, especially nowadays. I think they've upped their capacity. But basically, I just say I need to import sleep as well. From time import sleep. So basically, it'll just wait a second and then try again in case it fails to talk to OpenAI. Okay, so for this, since I like the prompt, let's do if name equals main, and this is not strictly required for this, just because it's I'm prototyping. I could just jump straight into a loop. However, this is good practice to do if name equals main if you want to call this from something else. I'm not going to do that since I just do imperative programming and rapid prototyping, but I just got in the habit and I like it because it just says, okay, let's demarcate this. Okay, let's see, for I in range, let's see, 0 to 10. Let's just do 10 for now. Let's see, premise equals GPT-3 completion. Prompt equals, oh wait, prompt equals, need to load the file, so I'll just copy this with open, and what did I call it, prompt premise, because I will use different prompts in the future as infile, so we'll say prompt equals infile.read. Okay. Oh, and another thing I forgot is what I do is I grab the output and I strip it, so that removes all white space from the edges, and then I also do a regex swap replace for any additional white space and just replace it with an individual space. So in this case, if it adds too much vertical space like new lines, I want to remove all the new lines just so it ends up with a single block of text like you see here. It's not always necessary, but sometimes GPT-3 will spit out too much vertical white space, and I want to condense it. So that's why I have this little bit here, and that actually reminds me I need to also import which is regex. Okay, so premise equals GPT-3 completion prompt, so that'll pass in the prompt. I've got the engine set to default to text DaVinci 02. I've got tokens 500 just in case it gets cut off. But you see here, these instructions are super short because text DaVinci 02 is pretty darn good. Okay, so let's run this. Oh wait, I actually need to save it. Okay, so let's see, with open, what did I name that folder? Premises. Premises slash, I guess I need a file name. Let's start at 1 and go to 200. File name equals premise underscore dollar, or text insert. I don't remember the name of that right now. Text, and then we'll do I. Okay. So that will give us a serial number. So we'll say premises that and do file name write encoding equals UTF-8. I always do UTF-8 because GPT-3 sometimes outputs stuff that will not encode in ASCII or other simpler things, and UTF-8 is just universal. So we'll do as outfile. Outfile.write premise. I think that's all I need to do. And then we'll do an exit right here. So what I often do is just for debugging and testing, I'll just have it do one instance. And then let's add a print premise. We'll do new line, premise, so that way we can separate them all out. Exit, so that'll just be a quick test. Make sure, okay. I think that's it. So Python, generate premises. Can I zoom in on this? Can I make this bigger? Edit, properties, cursor, no, not cursor size. Font, there we go. Make the font a little bit bigger so you can see it. There we go, look at that, beautiful. Let's go a little bit bigger so that you can see what the heck is going on. You don't have to squint at your screen. 36, that's enormous. Maybe that's a little too big. Heck with it. No module named OpenAI. Really? I forgot to okay, so I recently reinstalled my computer. Pip install OpenAI. The rest of this, while that's installing, the rest of these time and regex are default with GPT-3, so you don't need, or not GPT-3, Python. Sorry, the only module I need to install here is OpenAI. Okay, successfully built, installing. It's doing all this fun stuff. Okay, let's try that again. Python generate premises. Error communicating is not valid under. Interesting. It doesn't like it. Okay. I guess it doesn't like my empty whatchamacallit here, so we'll just do blah, blah, blah. Maybe I should exclude that if I'm not going to have anything meaningful in it. Okay, let's try again. Do clear screen. Generate premises. And the answer is save GPT-3 log is not defined. Oh, right, because I grabbed this function from something else. Save GPT-3 log. So I usually, in a lot of my projects, is I'll save every interaction with GPT-3. So let me just comment that out. My bad. Sorry. Again, I told you I was going to go through the entire process. This is what prototyping looks like with Dave. Hopefully it'll work this time. Fail fast and keep going. There we go. Okay, cool. Look at this. Incomplete format. Oh yeah, I did do that. I called me out on my crap. I messed it up here. Okay, the sky is orange and the sun is red, casting an eerie glow over the small town of Shepherdstown. It really likes Shepherdstown, doesn't it? I wonder how often it will do Shepherdstown, because the one up here also says Shepherdstown. Interesting. Okay, whatever. If it likes that, that's fine. We'll see if it repeats that. But let's go fix this thing, because I missed. You need the %s for file name. Okay, and that should, if I'm not mistaken, it will not have, yeah, it did not succeed. Okay, generate premises. Let's see what it does this time. Shannon left to run the family. Okay, so this generated a premise. Yep. She knows it would be inappropriate to pursue a relationship with someone she is employer. So that's a typo. That doesn't make any sense. Shannon and Diego must find a way to resist their feelings. So this came up with a romance. So one thing you can do is I often will do, I'll often have placeholders. So like, let's say we want to modify the premise for a random story. Let's say like, you know, romance story. Actually, let's do it this way. So we'll do romance, and instead of doing 200 of each one, we'll do like 50. So I'll do like romance, science fiction, fantasy, and like literary fiction or something. So we'll just do 50 of each, and we'll do premise, romance. There we go. I think this will be good. So then we'll get a broader variety. Yes. Okay. So then we can assume that this, yes, premise1.text. Yay, look at that. And actually, let's switch this. Open with, choose another program, Notepad++. Always use Notepad++. Okay, so there you have it. You see, we've got a premise for a story. And so let's go ahead and close that. And that took, what am I doing? Manage account. Okay. Usage. This will take a minute to load, but this is stupid cheap. Because that was like 200 tokens. So yeah, that last one was 164 tokens, and it cost less than a penny. 266 tokens cost 2 cents. So, you know, if I generate 200 of these premises, it'll be about $1, right? And if you've been watching my YouTube channel this month, everything that I've shown you has cost $2. That is how cheap GPT-3 is getting to use. Okay, so Quick little aside, let's comment out the exit. So we should generate now 50 premises of romance. And then we'll change this to sci-fi, fantasy, and other stuff. Do a quick save. So now we'll do CLS, Python, generate premises. Okay, so basically this is step one of generating synthetic data. And I've been doing this for, let me pause my video for a second to see how long. Okay, so that was 15 minutes. From 0 to getting an unlimited number of synthetic data, we're going from here. And you see it's outputting everything as it goes. It looks like it's using some similar stuff over and over again. Interesting. Jenna is looking forward to the weekend. Okay, so it is a little bit repetitive. That's interesting. I wonder if there's something we can do to make it a little less repetitive. At the beach house, beach house. All right, so solutioning time. This is way too darn repetitive. I think we might need to have a first thing, something that kind of stands before generating a premise. Okay, so generate a list of random characters, locations, and genres. So then we'll just do a dash there. Giraffe Lighthouse Comedy. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's say long list and see what that does, because a Giraffe Lighthouse Comedy, that's not helpful. Oh, random characters. Let's see. So we need to tell it for a story. This is for brainstorming a story. Generate a long list of random characters, locations, and genres. There we go. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Okay. So here's what happens is it gives us some random stuff. Let's run this a couple times to see if it gives us similar things. Because like a group of friends who get stranded on a desert island, camping trip in the woods. Let's see if it's repetitive again. A family who owns a farm, group of students. Okay, yeah, this is okay. This is a little bit more random. Run it a few more times. Skilled archer, town that is terrorized by a band of robbers, dark forest. Oh, this is great. A final battle between good and evil. Wonderful. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to create another prompt that stands before the first one because we saw that it was being way too repetitive. Okay, let's call this prompt brainstorming. Brainstorm. Okay, so first we're going to do that, and then I'm going to need to change this because we want to actually split the lines. Yeah. Okay, so we'll need to change a couple things. Let's see, how should I approach this? I think I'm just going to need to take this out because we want to maintain the lines, and we will say, I don't want to waste too many tokens. Actually, let's simplify this because I don't need multiple outputs. I need just one. Generate a list. Generate a list of. Well, no, because having a list output allows it to be more creative because there will be some slight variances. Oh, also, I wonder if I could fix this just by turning up the temperature. Let's go back. Look, before we get too carried away, let's turn up the temperature a little. 1.0 because this can go up to 2. Okay, before we get too carried away with over solutioning it, let's try simple things. So over here we've got 7 romances. Looking at the console output, most of them involve Jenna. Most of them involve the weekend at a beach house. So all right, let's see if we can restart this and we get a better set of outputs. Let's see. Let's go back here. Python generate premises. All right, so all I did was I changed the temperature from 0.7 to 1.0. So let's see if we get that repetitiveness again. Jenna is looking forward to her evening run. Okay, that's a little bit better. Jenna and Ryan hit it off. Tamara is a successful businesswoman who seems to have it all. She's beautiful and smart. Great. Starting to get some variety. Oh, but you see how we're getting some more vertical white space that I don't like. Hannah sets cross-country road trip. Good. Linda is high-powered executive. Yeah, okay, this is getting better. So the simple thing is the better thing. All I had to do is turn up the temperature. Let's add the canceling the white space. Add that back in. That's fine for now. Jenny is a young woman who is struggling to find her place in the world. Good. Rachel is a successful young woman. Notice how all the romances start with a woman. Falls in love with Luke, who learns to trust again. Sherry had always been a hopeless romantic. So here's what I'll do. I'll wait for this to get to about like 20 or so, or 25 rather, and then I'll change the prompt. Actually, no, I don't need to stop it. All I need to do is change the prompt. So we'll go to this. So this is one advantage. Actually, no, that won't work because I only load the prompt once. Yeah. So for every iteration, if I moved this up into the loop, then I could just change the prompt mid-flight. So actually, let's do that. So let's do that. Put that here. So now, while it's iterating, I can change the prompt mid-flight without having to cancel it. That'll be nice. Long day of work to her loving fiance, Miles. Jenna and the stranger. When Olivia's mom dies, she's left to fend for herself. So this is all very like Anglo-centric. These are all like pretty much typically American names. These aren't even like European names. So let me go ahead and pause this now. And let's add a little bit of variety. But first, we're going to want to change where it starts. Okay, so we're at 16. So let's go here and we'll start. We'll start at 17 and we'll go up to. Let's see. We'll just go up to 30. And then we'll change this to. Let's close that one so I can stop clicking on it. Brainstorm a detailed plot synopsis for a random romance. Let's say let's say French romance story. And watch how much just one word changes this output. And let's see, make sure that I changed where it starts. So it'll go from 17 to 30. Okay, that'll be fine. Okay. So, because basically what we're doing now is Elise, there we go. Dashing Parisian gentleman, Pierre. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so what we're doing is we're generating synthetic data right now. So ultimately, this will be the input that we use in the future. Why is it paused? There we go. Oh, wow. That's a much longer one. Excellent. So, we got 17 white bread American premise romance plots. And we're going to use those to generate like a 3-act structure in a little bit. But we want variety, right? We don't want just Anglo-centric American stories. We want a variety. So, oh, look at that name. Antoinette Gautier? Ha! Love this. Meets brooding. So there's another problem. Meets brooding artist Claude Monet. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that. This is great. Okay. Sorry, I'm just really happy, really excited about this. The goal, the reason why they're numbered, is because we got to get up to 200 total. So 200 total, that's going to be enough for us to, what am I trying to say? Sorry, I'm thinking really fast and my mouth can't keep up. We need to get a minimum of 200 samples in order to fine-tune a model. That is OpenAI's recommended kind of baseline minimum. Okay. Pardon me. I have to check something. Okay, sorry about that pause, but I think that's fine for you guys as watching the video. It just skipped ahead. Okay, so now we've got 30, well, 1 through 29 premises. Just scrolling up here. Francoise is a young woman who lives in Paris with her husband. Oh, that looks like that repeated. That's okay. It's okay if we get some repetition. So what have we learned? So far, we've learned to turn the temperature up a little bit. Let's go up a little bit higher next time, just to see. It can start to go off the rails, so that's why I have the console output, just so I can see what's doing as I'm generating this data. But already I've got about, what is this, 30 items. How much data is this? This is 24 kilobytes of data that I didn't have to write. All I did was tell the machine what I wanted it to do. All right, so first let's update our starting point. So we'll go from 30 to 45. We'll just do 15. And let's do a Bollywood romance story. And this is going to take a while, but I will explain stuff to you as we go. And if it gets too boring, I'll pause the video so it'll just skip ahead, so don't worry. If I pause the video and it skips ahead, it's just because I'm letting some of this process finish. Okay, so let's do the generate premises, but we change the prompt to Bollywood romance, and we've got the prompt premise, and now the output is still premise romance, and we're doing from number 30 to 45. Okay, let's go. Let's see what happens. Let's see how these go. Ria and Raj have been married for 5 years. They have a 2-year-old daughter. Look at this. They moved to Mumbai. Oh man, this is wonderful. It's so creative, and look how fast it's spitting this stuff out. I could never write this fast. No human could. No 10 people could. So I'm just churning out. Looks like it is a little repetitive. Raj and Simran. Of course, it could be that Raj is a common name. I work with a lot of Indian folks, and I know that there are some common names. Like, my name is Dave. That's freaking common, right? So, like, I know that, like, Karthik and Satish are ultra common names in India. Raul, there's another common one. So, yeah, it looks like having the temperature a little bit higher is good. I'm not seeing repetitive patterns in here. Even the names are often unique. That's good. Okay, so while this is running, let's see what are we up to? 36, so we've got about 10 more. Let's grab one of these. Whoops. If I know where I'm going. Okay, so let's grab this and start figuring out. Let's see. Construct. That's a good one. Construct a 3-act structure for the following. Yeah, sure. Grammarly is like the most nagging grammar teacher ever, but it helps me be a better writer. Also, speaking of, between GPT-3 and Grammarly, you combine those two, you're an unstoppable writer. You can produce content so fast. Construct a 3-act structure for the following story premise. Each act should have a brief description. 1 to 2 sentences. Okay. Premise. So we'll do a premise there. And now we'll do 3-act structure. Act 1. All right, let's see what this does. It might just be... All right, let's see how this compares. All right, I guess I have to read it all out. Okay, it all begins with Samir, a young man from a wealthy family, meets Naina, a simple girl from a small village. Naina has come to the city to make a better life for herself. She is immediately attracted to Samir, but is too shy to say anything. Ooh, a shy girl story. One day, out of the blue, Samir expresses his feelings for Naina and confesses his love for her. Naina is overjoyed and eagerly accepts his proposal. They begin to date, and their families approve of the match. However, just as things seem to be going well, Samir's father suddenly dies. Interesting. leaving him the sole heir to the family business. Samir is forced to take on a lot of responsibility and doesn't have much time for Naina. Oh man, this is a good story. I want to watch this movie. Naina begins to feel neglected and wonders if Samir is really the man she thought he was. Samir is soon caught in a world of money and power, and Naina feels like she is losing him. One day she decides to go back to her village, leaving Samir behind. Samir realizes how much he loves Naina and how much he has been neglecting her. He decides to go to her village and confess his love. Naina is hesitant, but eventually agrees to give him another chance. They share a passionate embrace, and their families rejoice at the news of their reunion. Oh man, I can imagine so much song and dance in this Bollywood picture. Okay, so let's see how that has translated to a 3-act structure. Act 1, she's immediately attracted. Okay, out of the blue. It almost looks like it's just... Okay, it's just splitting it up. This is not... This is... Okay. Break the following... following premise down into a list of major plot points. Use the Save the Cat model for screenplays. Okay, so then let's try this again. Save the cat. Plot point 1. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't like it. It's not working. Okay, so this is where we have to get more and more creative. Because it's just regurgitating it, and that's not exactly what I want. And I want to avoid doing a few shot example. Here, let's break this down even simpler. Write a scene. Write the opening scene for the following. No, we really do need an outline. Let's see, what was it? Translate or rewrite? Rewrite this the following premise into an outline. Outline. All right, let's see if this works. So again, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just experimenting. Rapid iteration. Okay, again, it's just their families rejoice. I guess this is okay because then we can break each of these points down into, we can break them down further, and we can expand the story for each of these. Like, break this down into, yeah, okay. I mean, these premises are so good. Yeah. Okay. I think we can work with this. Also, this is probably done. Let's go ahead and get this started. Raj and Priya, a painter falls in love with a girl. Excellent. And that should have us up to, what was that, 45 total? So we need just a couple more romance. Let's go ahead and set this to run. All right. Imaginary audience in my head. What kind of romance should we do? Oh, paranormal romance. Done. Paranormal romance story. And then we will go from 45 to 51. So that'll take us all the way up to 50. 50 on the dot. CLS. Python, generate some premises. Luke is actually a werewolf. That's fun. This is great. I love this. Okay, this will only take a minute because we're almost done already. 47. Jenna looks forward to the weekend a lot in GPT-3's brain. This is funny. When you wake up from your car accident, you find, oh, this is a first-person story. Excellent. Honestly, these premises are so good. Like, I don't know if I need to break them down any further. But let's see. Let me go back to this guy's comment. Because maybe this is more of an extraction thing. He said, you know, setup, inciting incident, midpoint, false high, all hope is lost, and climax. Okay. Actually, you know what, dude? John David Parsons, I'm just going to copy this because this is such a powerful way to start. Let me just paste this in here. Identify the following elements. All right, just copy that for now. Let's go back over here. Romance. Oh, wait, nope. Brainstorm a detailed plot synopsis for a random. All right, so now we're going to switch to... let's see, 75. Actually, no, we'll say 76. Now we're going to switch to... What did I say? Sci-fi? All right, sci-fi. And we'll say... science fiction story. And then we'll switch that over from like science fiction to like actually no, let's say random hard science fiction, and then we'll do like epic or space opera. Yeah, we'll do space opera next. Okay, so let's get this running. NA. That's interesting. Did it really just like spit out NA? It did. Okay. GPT-3 said, no, I'm not going to give you a premise. Okay, whatever. We'll just delete that one. Let's see what it's doing. In the future, the human race has all but wiped out a race of advanced aliens. Wow, we're jackasses. Okay. So we're getting some stories. Okay, identify the following elements for the premise. One, setup. Why does it keep jumping all the way down? 2, inciting incident. 3, midpoint. 4, false high. 5, all hope is lost. 6, climax. And I will actually probably go copy KM Weiland's story beats because KM Weiland is pretty good. Okay, so 1, setup. All right, let's see if it can identify it. Let's turn the temperature down because we don't want it to be as creative now. We do want it to be somewhat creative, but we don't want it to go off the rails. Okay, this looks like it's working. Leaving Samir behind. I don't know that that actually worked. Let's see what happens if we turn the temperature down even more. And I'll try turning it back up in just a second. Okay. So again, this is just kind of like regurgitating the same. There's not really any value add. That's why I'm not so happy with this, is because these premises are so great. So it's like, okay, well, what do we do from here? I guess I will go back and say like, okay, it can be helpful if we have a good like breakdown. But let's see, KM Weiland plot beats. What are her? Here we go. First act, the hook. First plot point, inciting incident, key event. First half of the second act, midpoint. This is not the list that I was thinking of because it doesn't include the pinch points. Oh well, this is good enough. Setup, inciting incident, midpoint, falls high, all hope is lost, dark night of the soul, whatever, climax. That's fine. We'll go with this. All right, so temperature of 0.5. Let's see if it's consistent. Okay, so this does break it down into a few points. We'll go with that for now. I really think that we should expand on this, though. Actually, here, let's be more creative. Okay, write a detailed opening scene for a film with the following premise. Let's see, what is the standard screenplay format called? Okay. Use standard script formats for Hollywood films. Screenplay. Let's see what it does with this. Fade in. Oh, wow. This is fascinating. Screenplay fades in. Exterior of Naina's village. Day. We see a small village in the middle of nowhere. There are simple houses and dirt roads. We see a young woman, Naina, walking down the road. She's carrying a small bag and looks determined. Naina to herself. This is it. I'm going to the city and I'm going to make something of myself. Wow, this is phenomenal. Oh, man. Okay, Naina jumps out of the way and falls to the ground. Naina, angry. What the hell? The car stops and a young man, Samir, gets out. He looks apologetic. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I'm fine. Just watch where you're going next time. Samir nods. Okay, I will. I'm really sorry. Waves him off. It's fine. Just be more careful. I think it ended because ran out of tokens. Okay, I really like this. So instead of because the premise is complete, we don't need to break that down. This is a full story. So let's copy this and say we'll save this as prompt screenplay, or we'll just call it a script. Okay. And then if I'm not mistaken, this is probably done. Yay! The year is 2755. The human race has been decimated by a pandemic. It swept across the globe. Ha! Too relevant. The year is 20XX. Okay. All right, cool. So we should have up to number 75. We got a whole bunch of sci-fi premises. So let's go back here. We'll start at 76 and go to 101. And we're going to change the prompt script. What did I say? Or the premise? This is going to be a space opera science fiction story. Okay, so let's kick this off again while it's running in the background. And that'll be half of our premises. Big Jeff is an unlikely hero. A portly space trader. Oh man, these are great. In a galaxy far, far away, a young farmer... Really? It's just copying Star Wars? That's fine. Okay. So we can't expect GPT-3 to always be super unique. But that's fine. We don't need it to be. So this starts to get a little bit more complicated for these prompts. So now that we've got material that we want to feed in, we're going to need to add a few more functions. And so what I'll do is I'll copy this because this script is just for generating premises. So what we'll do is we'll save this, and now we'll say, we'll call this generate scripts.py. Because we will need to take, actually maybe we won't. Yeah, we will need to take all this out because that does too much to the thing. We need to keep the format. We'll need to turn the temperature back down. I think we're at 0.5 on here. Yep, 0.5. We'll keep 500 tokens. Actually, let's do a little bit more because the screenplay, we want to expand this, right? Screenplay, fade in. It doesn't even have a name. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so we need this. Actually, here, let's copy this whole thing. And the prompt for the script. So then what we do is we add a token for the premise. Okay, and we go here So I just want to point out the original idea was to create a outline generator, but I realized that the premise generator was more powerful than an outline generator. And so basically, I'm moving the goalposts on myself and saying, actually, let's go a little bit further. Let's do something unique. And so we'll do scripts. And so this is going to be the script that that matches what we're doing. We'll leave. Let's change the script. Write a detailed opening scene. Write detailed opening scenes, plural, for a film with the following premise. Use standard script formats for Hollywood films. So we'll put in the premise and then the screenplay. Okay. So, and then I will also turn, you probably saw generate scripts. Turn it up to 1,000 tokens. DaVinci Instruct can go up to 4,000. So this one, so you see like that can go up to 4,000. That's going to get pricey, and it's also going to take a while. So I'm not going to go that far. Okay, this is done. Kira is a young woman born on a small space station. Okay, cool. So now we've got exactly 100 premises. We've got romance, sci-fi. What did I say? Oh, fantasy. Okay, so let's go back in here and switch to fantasy. How long has this video been? Okay, we're at 46 minutes, and we're a good chunk of the way done. Where was I? Oh yeah, we are going to generate some more premises. Prompt premise. So we're going to switch to fantasy, and we're going to go from 101 to 126. And the prompt for the premise is going to be a random high fantasy story. This one will be specifically like, well, it says high fantasy, so that implies magic and dragons. And then we'll do another kind of fantasy after this. All right, so let's let that rip and roll. Make sure that it runs. The kingdom of Alabaster, really, is in peril. The king has been assassinated and the queen has been kidnapped. This sounds fun. Far in the land of Doran, there lived a great kingdom. People were thriving and happy under the leadership of King Gelador. That's cool. Okay, they triumph and Doran is restored. Rin, a young woman of humble beginnings. Okay, this is great. A young woman discovers she is a reincarnated princess of a lost kingdom. That's cool. She must venture into... yeah, okay. So that's running. In the meantime, generate scripts. Okay, so we removed that. So what we have to do here is instead, I'll leave that in place for now. So we'll do import OS. Premises equals OS listdir premises. And so then what we'll do is we'll do for premise in premises. And also you can do a one-liner here. Actually, so let's do it that way, because that's more Pythonic. For premise in premises, we will do let's see, we'll say text equals no, with open, because we'll use the same yeah, here we go. We'll just copy paste this, but instead we will say read, and we will do for file name as in file premise equals infile.read. Okay, so now we will have loaded each premise. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did here, which is the script equals GPT-3 completion premise. Oh wait, no. The we have more to do. The prompt, sorry, with open. Let's see, what was the prompt name? There we go. So this is going to be our prompt script. And let me check on this, see if it's done. It is done. Okay, so let's go update. And I know I'm jumping around a lot, but I multitask. So basically what I'm doing is I notice that this is done, so I'm going to go and update the prompt. So this is a random high fantasy. What other kind of fantasies? Let's do grimdark fantasy. That's all the rage right now. So let's change this from 126 to 151. And we'll start that going again. Generate premises. And so that just so you can see, we've got 125 premises here. Let's see. When the last king of the realm was slain in battle, all hope seemed lost, but Prince Aidan, heir to the throne, was not ready to give up. Okay. Cool. Life was never meant to be easy. Grown from the dirt and grime of the world, the people toiled day in and day out. Yeah, this is miserable. Okay. All right, where was I? Generate scripts. Yes, generate scripts. So prompt script as infile, prompt equals infile.read, dot replace, and we're going to replace the premise with the premise. So that grabs that. So basically we're saying the prompt is going to read this file and replace this part with the actual premise. And so then we will say the script equals GPT-3 completion of the prompt. And remember, the prompt now has the premise embedded. And so then that is the call to GPT-3. File name. Actually, the file name will just be file name equals, we'll say new file name equals file name dot replace premise with script. So basically what this line will do is it'll grab the premise and just say script, and it'll have the same, otherwise it'll have the same number. Okay, so that'll be the new file name. That's fine. And then we'll copy paste this line. With open, and we'll say scripts. So this will change to a new file. Out file write. So new file name, and we'll say script right there. So that should be good. And we'll do exit 0 just to test the first one. And so this should be ready once as soon as we've got enough training data. So tell you what, this is about as far as I can code right now, so I'm going to pause the video and skip ahead. But basically all I'm going to do is make sure that this finishes creating the underlying data, and then I'll restart the video once we're ready to start generating the scripts. All right, pause. Okay, as promised, we have 200 premises. A bunch of them, I did a gritty noir mystery anime was one of them, but we've got 200, all kinds of, we got mystery, fantasy, sci-fi, and romance, and they're all great. Okay, so next up, let's do a quick test. Python generate scripts. Okay, so as a reminder, we did this premise of the script premise. Sorry, reset. We have a script writer that uses the premises we just made. Okay, there we go. That's what I was trying to say. So let's do this. Let's just generate one to make sure it works. And then if that works, I'm going to pause the video again while it runs, because you don't want to sit here and just watch 200 go. All right, so generate scripts. Let's see if this throws any errors. And if it doesn't, let's check to make sure that it outputs correctly. Oh, I didn't have it do any console output. Script 1. Hey, look at this. Shannon's farm. Shannon, early 20s. Shannon, look at this. Perfect. Okay, this is 1,400 lines long, or characters long, so that's probably right about 1,000 tokens. Yeah, this is great. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video again while this runs, and I'll see you in just a second. Okay, and we're back. We've got almost 200 scripts written. So you can just see like, hey, here's some actual scripts being generated. I'm not going to read them all, but I'm just going to trust that like, hey, this works. And if you want to go through it and take a look at them. In the meantime, though, while this was running, because this has taken, let's see, 8:22 now. I don't know when it paused. You can do some math. But I think I started about an hour and a half ago now total, maybe a little bit more. So hour and a half later, most of this time has actually been spent waiting because this is a slow process. Okay, so we've got that. So what I did while I was waiting, so we've got the generate premises. We're done with that. Generate the prompt for the premises. We've got that. Oh, let me zoom back in. Sorry, you probably can't see this. Generate scripts. You saw me write this. This worked just fine. You can see the results here. And then, whoops. And then, okay, so this is the next thing I did. I borrowed this from a previous project. So all this does is create a JSONL file. So let me do Python generate JSONL. Name data is not defined. What do you mean data is not defined? Where do I use data? Oh, I meant to delete that. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, so let's make sure that this file was good. Scripts.jsonl. Cool. So it looks like that worked. So prompt, and then it ends with completion. You see here where I have end script. So what I always do is I always add a natural language token at the end. OpenAI, they recommend doing something like that as your divider, but I don't like doing that. It doesn't work as well because if you have a natural language token at the end of the prompt, then it knows like, okay, now it's time to do this particular task. So what this data looks like is what it does. Let me explain this. So we take the premise and we match it to a script. And so this script, Shannon's farm on the day, like da-da-da, Shannon is left to her family farm on her own. So basically this is going to train a model to take any premise, so this could be like a handwritten premise, and output a movie script. I know I completely changed the purpose from what I said at the beginning of the video, but hey, that's how rapid prototyping and research goes. Let me save that because I don't want to, or close that because I don't want to save it. Okay, so this file worked. So we've got our JSONL file. So this is the final product for our training data. And then the very last script that I wrote is this finetuned.py. And again, excuse me, I borrowed it from a previous one. So basically all it does is it uploads the file, the JSONL file that we just did, and then it calls the fine-tune model. And I'll pause it again because the fine-tuning takes a while to show you, but then once it's done, it'll actually appear. And so just so you know how much this costs, let me do a quick refresh. So everything that you've seen today, I started the day at about $2, so now we're at $11. So generating 200 premises, which is, let's see, that's about 139 kilobytes of text data, and then generating 200 scripts from those, which is going to be a lot more, 330 or 303 kilobytes. So this all told would cost about $9 so far, because I was at about $2 already when I got started this morning. Yeah, so $9 to generate, to synthesize the data. That's not just the fine tuning. The fine tuning is way cheaper, but this was synthesizing from scratch. Okay, so I think this should be ready. So let's see, file upload. That does do the pretty print of that. And then the fine tune model. Okay, so yes, this should work if I'm not mistaken. It might error out. So let's do CLS, Python, fine tune. Okay, got the file uploaded. And let's see. Status pending. Okay, cool. I think this is usually it's in sequential order. So DaVinci fine-tune file name file. It doesn't have the name in it. Anyways, I'm assuming that it is fine-tuning. Let's do fine-tune get, fine-tune list. Okay, so here we will, let me, oh yeah, so that was the last thing it did. So let me save that real quick. So I just comment these two out. I actually don't need that. So let me just do CLS. So fine-tune, all this will do is just do a fine-tune list. So it's pending. Okay, this will take a while. So I'll pause the video again, pause the record, because you don't want to just sit and wait for this to finish. But let me show you what it looks like when it's done. So when it's done, under your engines, your fine-tunes will pop up here. And it'll have, so it starts with the engine name, and then they changed it, so it's like the original fine-tunes were like user, blah, 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 blah. This wasn't helpful. They changed it to the name, so it gives me my name, and then I gave it a tag. So this was my Eve project, yep, so on and so forth, core objective functions, Eve, so on and so forth. So once that's done, another fine-tune will pop up here with the name, what name did I give it? Scripts. So I could have said something better like movie script or something. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let me pause it and I'll show you how this performs in the playground in just a moment. Okay, gang, and we are done. It's 9 o'clock, so I think that's about 2.5 hours in. Granted, a huge chunk of this was waiting. So let me do a quick refresh here, and let me show you what the final result is. Whoops, scroll down. Scripts. Okay, so let's come up with a random premise for a story. Actually here, my creativity is offline, so let me just go back up here. Write a premise for, let's combine it. So we have an anime mystery, and a high fantasy. So let's do write a premise for a high fantasy anime movie. Write a detailed premise. Let's go brainstorm. Okay. In a world of swords and sorcery, a young girl named Lily is thrust into a quest to save her kingdom from a powerful evil sorcerer. Okay, great. Okay, we've got a premise, so let's, clear that out. In a world of swords and sorcery, and then the fine-tuning data adds this script, so that tells it that the premise is done. So we'll go down to scripts, and we'll change this to 0.5. And here we go. Let's see what happens. It might time out because it does often take a little bit of extra time to load a fine-tuned model. But we should be just about done. And to prove it, let me go back here and show you outline generator. So started 3 hours ago. Yeah, so 3 hours ago, that's about how long I've been working on this. And we will do a final commit, and I'll do a final push. Yep, please try again shortly. Actually, I'm not changing anything, so we'll just do a git status. So remember, I started this video with just doing this git, the initial commit, git add all git commit am final commit, and you can go check on the commits yourself if you want. Git push. Okay. So this code is now updated and online. I'm probably also going to rename it from outline generator because this has actually became a script generator. Why did it name it that? Oh, I probably accidentally copy pasted that, didn't I? That shouldn't be there. COF JSONL. Yeah, I totally accidentally copy pasted that. Okay, that needs to go away. Also, this is under the MIT license, so you are free to use this however you want. Let's see if this is loaded. Still being loaded. Try again. Git status, git add, git commit am, removing extraneous. Oh, actually, there's another one that needs to be removed. Brainstorm, because we didn't use that one. Okay. Git add, git commit am. Remove extra files, keep it as simple as possible, git push. Ta-da! Okay. Cool. So now the only stuff in this is exactly what was used. Nothing more, nothing less. Has it finished loading? Oh, come on. Why is it going so slow? Don't you know I got a YouTube video to make here? Usually it only takes 1 or 2 tries before the fine-tuned model loads. So I wonder if OpenAI is extra busy today. Okay, I'm going to pause it rather than make you wait. Okay, and of course, the very, 3 seconds after I clicked pause, it ran. Okay, so with this, notice I didn't include any instructions. I just give it a premise, and it writes a script. Fade in, Lily's house, day. Young girl of about 10 is playing in her backyard with her dog, a small terrier. Laughing, having a good time. Mama, Papa, there is no answer. Little girl starts to get scared. This is totally like a Miyazaki, right? This is a Studio Ghibli. Because there's a sorcerer's castle, etc., etc. Okay. The men chase after Lily, grabbing her. And there you have it. You can do this yourself. You can go fine-tune this. It's all up here. I'll leave it named Outline Generator, even though that's a misnomer, whatever. It'll just be an inside joke. Yeah, it's done. Thanks for watching.